Let's be real for a second. Have you ever felt like parenting is just this constant, exhausting battle? You're always correcting behavior, it feels like you're yelling all the time, and at the end of the day, you feel drained and your kids just seem misunderstood. If that hits close to home, then you are in the right place. Today, we're diving deep into the powerful, game-changing ideas from Dr. Becky Kennedy's book, Good Inside.
So here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to tackle the core problem that so many of us are struggling with. Then, we'll explore 3 huge ideas from the book. These are the pillars that change everything. We'll talk about seeing the good inside, using behavior as a window, and the incredible power of repair. And then, we'll wrap it all up with one super simple, really powerful first step you can take literally today.
Okay, so let's start with that feeling that parenting is just this unwinnable war of wills, you know? We love our kids more than anything in the world, but somehow we get stuck in these cycles of frustration, yelling, and just feeling disconnected. Well, the book argues it's because we've been fighting the wrong battle all along.
I want you to just listen to these worries, because they come straight from real parents. A kid who's being mean, a child who seems to be going backward, a preteen who has just completely shut you out, and that sinking feeling that no matter what you try, nothing seems to work. Does any of that sound familiar? I bet it does. And if so, I promise you are not alone in this.
So here's the big misunderstanding that's causing all this friction. Most of us were taught that our job as parents is to be a behavior manager, right? When our kid acts out, our first instinct, our primary goal is to stop it, to correct it, to get rid of that bad behavior. But think about it, that automatically puts us on the opposite team from our kids.
And this is where the book just completely flips the script on us. It asks us to reframe our entire mission as parents. What if our main job wasn't to correct, but to connect? What if the real key to changing behavior wasn't about more control, but about really, truly seeing our child? I mean, that changes everything, doesn't it?
And that leads us right into the first pillar. This is the absolute bedrock of this entire philosophy. It's a belief you really have to embrace before any of the other strategies can work. And it's this. Deep down, at their core, both you and your child are good inside.
The good inside principle sounds simple, but wow, is it transformative. It means that you have to look past the screaming, past the defiance, past all the messy, frustrating actions, and hold on to one truth. Underneath it all is a good person who is having a hard time, not a bad person who needs to be fixed.
And this mental shift is, well, it's everything. Our internal monologue is no longer, what is wrong with you, or why are you being so difficult? Instead, it becomes, my good kid is really struggling right now. What's happening for them? Just that one little shift, from judgment to curiosity, it opens up a whole new world of connection. So let's see how this plays out in the real world with an example from the book. Picture this. You have to tell your younger son he can't come to a special birthday lunch for his older brother, and he just loses it. He explodes and screams, "You're the worst mom in the world." I mean, ouch. Our first instinct is to fire back, right? To punish that disrespect.
But if we can hold on to that good inside belief, we can hear the pain behind those awful words. We can see a good kid whose heart is just overwhelmed with jealousy and sadness, and it's all coming out as pure anger. By separating him from his behavior, we can actually address the real problem, his hurt feelings, without destroying our connection in the process.
And that flows perfectly into our second pillar. Because if our kids are good inside, then what is all this difficult behavior about? Well, this is where we learn to see their actions not as something to fight against, but as a form of communication. Think about it like this. Most of us were taught to see behavior as a wall. It's an obstacle, it gets in our way, and our job is to tear it down. But this new approach asks us to see that same behavior as a window. Now, it might be a messy, foggy window sometimes, for sure, but it's a direct view into what's going on inside our child. Our goal isn't to board it up, it's to get curious and look through it.
The book uses this perfect analogy that I think we can all relate to. Just imagine you're this parent. It's the end of a really long day, the kids are fighting, you just got a stressful email from your boss, the house is a mess, and then one more tiny thing happens and you just snap. You slam the cereal box down on the counter.
And here is the million-dollar question. Was your outburst really about the cereal? Of course not. It was a window into your own inner world of feeling completely overwhelmed and exhausted. See, we can give ourselves that grace pretty easily. The real challenge is to give that same deep understanding to our kids when they have their own slammed cereal box moments.
This quote just nails it. Behavior is never the problem, it is a clue to the problem. When we rush in to fix the behavior, to stop the yelling or the hitting, we're basically just wiping up the spilled cereal. We're totally missing the chance to address the real issue, which is the distress that made the mess in the first place.
This brings us to our third and final pillar. And honestly, this one might be the most important because it gives all of us permission to be human. Because look, even with the absolute best intentions, we're gonna mess up. We will yell, we will get it wrong, and that is okay. Because what matters most isn't being perfect, it's being good at repair.
So what do we even mean by repair? It's so much more than a quick, mumbled, "I'm sorry." It's the intentional act of circling back after things have calmed down, taking ownership for our part, and actively reconnecting with our child. It teaches them that our relationship is strong enough to handle conflict and come out even stronger on the other side.
And you know, one of the most beautiful ideas in this whole book is that repair has no expiration date. It's never too late. It can heal a fight that happened 10 minutes ago, or it can heal a hurt that's been lingering for 10 years. When we model this, we show our kids that owning our mistakes is a sign of strength, not weakness. So let's all just take a collective deep breath right now and let go of that impossible pressure to be the perfect parent.
It's not real. Our goal isn't to be flawless. Our goal is to be a parent who is really, really good at coming back, reconnecting, and showing our kids that real love is about mending things together.
Okay, we have covered some really big, transformative ideas. So the question now is, what do we do with all this? How do we take these huge concepts and actually make them real when we're in the heat of a tough moment with our kids?
I want you to think of these 3 pillars like a set of tools. First, you have your foundation, that core belief that everyone is good inside. Second, you have your compass, the perspective that behavior is a window to look through, not a wall to fight. And third, you have your safety net, the powerful tool of repair that catches you every single time you stumble. And this is the beautiful payoff. The goal here isn't just a more obedient child. It's a deeper, stronger, more trusting relationship. When kids feel genuinely seen and understood, their need to act out just melts away. And when we're not stuck in constant battle mode, we become calmer, more confident, and more connected parents.
So, let's make this super practical. Here is your first, tiny, doable step. It is not some complicated script you have to memorize. It's this. The very next time you feel that wave of anger or frustration rising up inside you, just do these 3 things. 1, stop. 2, place your hand on your own heart. And 3, take one single, slow, deep breath.
That one breath, that's where the magic is. It's not going to solve the problem right then and there, but what it does is create a tiny pause, a little bit of space between the trigger and your reaction. And in that space, you can remember they're good inside. In that space, you can choose to look through the window instead of running into the wall. That space is where all the change begins. So what will you see in that space?